let's do the main portion of the show. Welcome to the Paracast. I'm your host, Tomas the Boss Fernandez, joining you from in front of the. No, the bed's messed up. Sorry, kids. And you can tell I was working that night shift because the closed valance to prevent any extra light coming in.
I thought you just threw your clothes on top of things.
No, I am actually pretty organized. I'm a pretty clean and organized individual.
Good for you.
Yeah, I try to stay everything's tip top shape in here. Things are put away, they're in their place. I get everything done. I cook all my food. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you're better than me. I don't organize shit.
Well, that's because you're riddled with ADD. You're riddled with ADD, Robert. That's why. Unless you put it. Well, let me introduce the man. He's got two problems, and straight women ain't one of them. It's Robert Wyatt.
Oh man, what's the other one?
There's two options left.
Not anymore. It's 2024. There's like 37 million options left.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Robert's just got furries coming after him.
What's the Ryan Long joke? There's 596 genders and boys are still the best. Boys, boys, boys. Yes, of course. That's the way. Listen, if it wasn't true, display your evidence. That's all I'm asking. And
thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Well, hold on. We're gonna get a gay joke in there. Who's crawling under your bathroom stall? That's right. It's Jared Stepp.
I dropped my pen.
That's what the preacher said too.
I'm just trying to get it.
I'll always have to remember the Republican congressman. They were doing the. You guys remember this? Yeah, they were doing the gay bathroom sting, where you. I guess the language was that you would put your hand under the stall, and then someone would like tap your hand, and then you would crawl. Here's the indignity about it. If they would crawl under the stall, like that's what I remember. Like you would crawl under the stalls. Like don't both stalls have doors? Couldn't you just open the stall and then walk into the other stall? Or like you sit super wide and tap
do anything for sex.
Half the fun of doing gay shit is sneaking about it.
Yeah, that's the stealth aspect.
Yeah,
that's why
what makes it fun.
That's why most gay guys love Metal Gear Solid. It is the #1 franchise. It's just like I don't know. I get a feeling over me when I'm sneaking like this. What's this going on? Ooh.
I can't sneak laying down anymore though.
You know what? Now that
dragging a divot behind me on the ground.
Now that call a plow. You're plowing a row. That's what you're doing. Hold on, let me get my blue chew in. Now that I think of it, I think I just ruined Metal Gear Solid for myself.
Oh shit! You like Metal Gear Solid?
I love Metal. Hold on, I'll even prove it to you.
Oh God! Are you gonna show us your penis?
It's my 12-inch Solid Snake doll from 1998 that I've never opened.
And for you audio listeners, he did just show us his penis.
It's got a Solid Snake tattoo with a bandana on it. Infinite ammo. Wow. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of guys, fighting each other and with their shirts off, and they're all kind of ripped, and they're sneaking around, and there are bathroom scenes where you can like choke a guy in a bathroom stall. So
awkward.
I'm gay.
Sold.
Anyways, magazine release came in from Tyrant Industries. Put it on this VP9. Let me. Long story short, sucks. I'm sending it back. It's
make sure you send it back before the time period goes out, like that Siley Bowl.
Yeah, like those sons of bitches at Siley Bowl with their 60-day warranty or money back guarantee.
So what sucks about it?
The bowl or the magazine release?
Well, yes, technically, but
just look at the Siley Bowl and we know it sucks about it.
Look at you and you could see what sucks about it. That's what the boys' room says. It's just slightly wider width-wise. It's not wide or long ways, so it's for like people who are trying to do the thumb release. So it doesn't really help here too much. The other part though is like it's machined in a way that it takes more movement and more pressure to get the magazine to drop. So it just makes reloads harder. And
so that means your next logical step, you know what it is, right?
Get an MP.
JB Weld.
JB, build it out.
Yep.
Build
that bitch out.
You know what? Gosh damn it, Step. You might actually be right.
Make a ledge. Put a JB Weld on the side. It'll be perfect. Trust me.
That's an aluminum. That will stick better.
Thinking about this.
I am actively thinking about this. That might actually be the option.
There's nothing bad that could possibly happen.
Nothing's ever happened.
Nothing. The worst that could possibly happen is you ruin a shitty gun with a shitty part.
I would have to put it on a shitty gun.
I gotta be honest, Tommy. I mean, I don't see anything, that's I totally agree with everything he's saying there.
I think it would work.
Science.
Listen, like, how far can I be above it? You guys are the Patreon side of the show and how we opened it. Like, I'm not above it. I'm obviously can't be above it, so fine. We'll do it that way. Robert?
What I do? I didn't do much of anything. I did. I spent a big chunk of the week editing the photos from Jared's copper match and the not a copper match, and that took a while. But it's so funny whenever you take these pictures, you always think, oh man, I can just do these. I'll just get it done this afternoon, and then you start scrolling.
A lot of photos.
And scrolling, and you're like,
oh shit.
Man, I like the old 35 millimeter days when there was 36 on a roll. That's all we got.
And now you're like,
made and they were bad ones.
Now you're like, well, now that I can take 18 photos in a second, like I'll just rip it go and I'll just choose through. And then you're like looking at one photo and you're just like, you would have kept it if it was on film, but now it's digital. It's like, well, one of his eyes is slightly more open than the other one. Next photo. Okay.
Well, that and the hard thing is, I mean, because that camera will shoot 44 a second. I did not run that fast at this match because I just didn't need to. I mean, the cops aren't that fast, so it's not really that big of a deal. But no, it's just weird.
You were shooting white and brown targets.
Yeah. I mean, it was just stand and deliver at that point. The thing that was funny is like there are so many photos and frames of people just doing just janky ass shit, and some of it's not even like bad.
Don't you fucking say anything that's gonna make that Slipsa board come after me with pitchforks. We already had that retroactively after the handgun match. Don't you fucking say something.
I like how this has instantly
become the Slipsa board that causes all the problems.
Now
I have that folder saved of all the janky ass shit Dave and Dan and Blake, all those guys did.
As long as you have your counter blackmail, then we'll be fine.
The old Uno reverse card.
This is how you how do you know there's not like a thin blue line that keeps police officers from ratting on each other when something bad happens? Jared's reaction to "Don't you dare snitch on us." It's like the episode of The Shield. He's gonna come beat you with a phone book.
You're goddamn right.
No, it's just funny. I mean, because I don't unfortunately, I wasn't there on staff day. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten a really great image of my good friend Adam shooting a stage. Yeah, that's about it.
That's okay.
I'm so sad that he pussed out. Adam, if you're listening to this, the only video that I've ever wanted to watch of you was your match video. What did we learn from how not to shoot the ground?
Click, click, click.
I want it so bad.
All I'm saying is that shot timer. I mean, from the time of the beep to the first shot was like, damn, that's a spicy split.
Yeah, it was like a 0.5 draw.
I was impressed.
Well, the funniest thing about the cop match, honestly, was we had 3 DQs, and all 3 were actually some of the highest competitive shooters there. The first DQ was poor Kerry, and Kerry probably has more experience running and shooting and match directing, and he probably has more experience with 3-gun than just about anybody in the goddamn state.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the poor guy he slipped.
Yeah, I don't even give that. That's the thing. I don't even give that DQ something bad. That was just sometimes just bad luck happens.
Yeah, it's like the best you can, like, if you can fall and keep the muzzle down range and your finger off the trigger, like, good for you. If you can keep your fall and keep your finger off the trigger, good for you. But like that's like what happens with the muzzle is, the
wild part though. We had 2 DQs. The first DQ was Kerry, and then the second DQ was Adam, who would probably be the second or third. He's up there as well for most experienced 3-gunner in the whole state.
Oh, and it's dude, like, I'd put him as like, nationally ranked, awesomest 3-gunner in the world kind of guy.
We were so confused because we're looking around. We're like, what's going on here? The two guys wearing jerseys, they're DQing. And so we were joking around. We're saying, Dan Ward, you best watch out. You got a jersey on, motherfucker. You're going to get DQ'd next. And jerseys are dropping like flies today, gentlemen. So you better watch it.
You know what's funny, though?
In the main match, we had one final DQ, and it was from one of the top police officer competitive shooters. He probably would have finished in the top 5 for sure. And the poor guy, when he put his pistol in the bucket, somehow it flipped around. And so when we grabbed it, the gun was pointing at him and it pointed at the RO. And so that had to be an unsafe abandonment. So that was shitty. But those were the 3 DQs from the cop match. And I was just like, what's happening here? This is the weirdest time.
Well, my observation from my indoor match is like, because you have like the brand new shooters and then the more experienced guys, it's the experienced guys, they're just pushing it. They're pushing it a lot harder than everybody else. And that's really it. The brand new guys, they're going to be slow as molasses, but they'll generally try to be as safe as possible. They'll probably have their finger in the trigger because that's just what they do, but they're generally safe. And truth is, even the good guys, I mean, they're pretty safe. Sometimes life just happens, but they're just pushing it. They're pushing it harder than anybody else.
Well, I mean, some of the bigger DQs in Slipsa in the past year, I remember Zach did one, Leo did one. There are a handful of our top end guys who DQ'd, and it's just like, what's going on? What's happening? Because they're the ones who are pushing it or getting to that ragged edge, and then every once in a while they find the edge and go, oh shit.
Yep.
Fall off and go, oh, it's okay.
They go over the edge. Like that's
But that's the nature of the beast when you're trying to really push that speed and push that ferocity and trying to go through those stages. I don't want to say with reckless abandon, but when you're really trying to push that speed, that's what's going to happen. That's full Ricky Bobby and past Ricky Bobby until he's on fire and he's got invisible fire on. Like it's going full tilt.
Oh, for sure.
Retard.
I mean, and your match really, the scoring style of your match really kind of like emphasizes that fun Ricky Bobby flair. And I mean, honestly, that's kind of why I like that match so much. Is it is just, it's kind of just drag races.
Yep,
it's fun.
Yeah,
it is super fun. Anything else? Go ahead, Jared.
I do want to talk about one thing I forgot to bring up last week about the cop match, and it was one of my favorite. I don't want to say compliments or statements. I guess it's almost a statement that I received. It was from one of the Tactical Cowboy guys. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. It's this online Instagram, Facebook page where I don't want to call them LARPers, but
I did.
They're a bunch of good dudes. And they're creating a community of people who want to learn and pretend how to be Rangers. And it's a bunch of vets. And they're doing a great job of it.
NCR Ranger, I'm just saying.
They're having a fun time. They're doing a good thing. They're doing their thing. But they came out and shot the match, and they did a good job. We DQ'd one of them at the Not a Cop match, so that was fun. Poor guy's gun bounced out of his holster. And that was loaded, so it's like, sorry. Yeah. So that is what it is. But with their main competition guy actually came up to me, and it was hilarious because he just looks at me for a second. He's like, you don't care about the competition. And I just looked at him. I go, what? And he goes, you don't care about the competition, do you? And I go, no. He goes, this is all just a trick to get the cops to actually shoot. And I go, yes. And he goes, oh my God, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But it was really funny because he's like, it's a genius idea. He's like, this is absolutely fantastic. He's like, and he kind of talked a little bit afterwards, but Basically, we had a conversation about how a lot of times it's really, really difficult to get cops to do any sort of training and to do competitive aspects of it and to get involved in these competition shoots. And it's practically impossible to do. Very, very, very difficult to get these guys involved. But we're not so much, I don't want to say we don't care about the competition, but the primary goal of the cop match is not the competition. It is to get cops out in training and trying to get them to actually go fast and get them to understand how you can actually move, how you can actually shoot, how you can think and shoot at the same time. Like, that's the goal of the match. The goal of the match is to get cops to think and shoot at the same time and get exposures to that under a stress, even if it's a fake stress. All stress is real. It gets them exposure to stress and thinking and shooting at the same time. And there are so many officers that never experienced that ever in their department training or their police training or in post or anything along those lines. So that's the goal of the match. And it was just really funny.
Well, the other thing about it that I think is really good is the fact that in each one of these departments, whether it's, Murray or Sandy or whatever, there's always the big fish in that pond who's like the hot shit guy, and everybody instinctively will look up to that person. But they'll come to something that's a competitive environment. And if it was a USPSA match, it's easy just to dismiss it and say, oh, those are just gamers and like screw those guys. But it's cool what you've done, because you've actually put the match among law enforcement, and now they're actually having to look at other departments' law enforcement, and they're getting their shit pushed in by better cops. And now they're like, oh, Joe over here in Murray isn't really the greatest guy ever. Well, maybe this Jared guy in Sandy is somebody we should go talk to. That's pretty cool. Well, because you have somebody to look up to.
The inter-department competition of themselves, like who's in the department, actually seeing who actually the best shooter was at a match, stacked up on there. Because the one thing that I've noticed in like ROing the cop match, especially the handgun match from this year, was the striation of age is definitely like 32 and below.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really good. And then you see some of the guys who are like 32 and above, and you watch some of those guys shoot, and you're just like, oh, you're like lacking hard.
Oh shit, I'm 34.
Oh no. But like you like see some of those guys, and you're just like, oh, this is like, in your mind, you're flowing through this like you're Obi-Wan Kenobi cutting down droids.
Slow as smooth and smooth as fast.
And you literally look, I don't know. You ever see that meme where it has the female officer and she's like, they're holding cover on a door and she has like the gun just sitting out there, just like, yeah, it's exactly what it looks like. It's just like, I'm going to shoot around this corner. Pop, pop.
I mean, the nice thing about competition is it does such a good job of just cutting through the BS of all the stuff that that the old hats say. And I am not trying to diminish what the old timers say, because they come from a place, and that place had value. Then it did. But all the young guys, they're learning new things. We talked about this all the time. Like all of like my young framers and stuff like that, they're not afraid of steel. The old hats are just like, oh no, we're never doing that, because wood holds everything up just fine. But you get in a competitive environment and you're like, look, not only can we shoot as well as you, we can shoot substantially faster. And because of that, we're more effective. And we can do it on the move. So we can do all these other things, the same as what you were telling us that we had to be good at. We're doing that, and we're doing so much more. It just kills that. Yeah, it kills that line, that unearned moral superiority that some people try and cling to.
Mm-hmm. I really like it, and I really enjoy trying to promote all the cops to get better. And it's been an absolute blast as we continue this shit show of a journey.
Yeah,
that is now the Utah law enforcement firearms matches. But it's gonna be fun, guys.
And that's the thing, dude. I mean, you can see. I mean, like having been involved with you. I mean, from an outsider's perspective, since you've taken it over, just watching how good our local law enforcement has gotten. And you've seen the guys that keep coming back, and you're like, yeah, you've done something good. You should be proud of that.
Well, Jared, he could be doing better if he still had the support of the UPOA. Anyways, if you would,
that's true. They actually have a 3-gun coming up sometime this month. I don't even know when it is, but they're charging $100 for it. And it was really funny because they just sent out an email and they're like, "Hey guys, we got some questions, so we're just responding. We do have a lot of sponsors for the match. Smith and Wesson, they have donated several gun mats and 2 stools. Market Street Grill has donated some dinners, and we have a lot of really, really good things coming to this match. So again, you sign up here. It's $100. You need 100 rounds of pistol, 100 rounds of rifle, and then 15 slugs.
So we're gonna stand in a box, shoot this, run over, like change guns, shoot in the next box, run over to the next box.
The location that they're doing it is at the prison, and the prison only has they have a very small range.
Hold on. Before we go any farther, if they're releasing convicts and having you hunt them and the convicts are armed, your match fucking sucks, Jared. This match is way better. It's way better. Tell me this isn't like I'm gonna go get deputized if this is it.
We're doing a battle royale at the prison. Oh shit! Market Street Grill sponsoring. I'm in. I love oysters.
Camp Williams is gonna let us parachute in. Oh my gosh!
Fuck yeah! All right. Now we got the hype train going. That's what we should do. We should just tell everyone that they're gonna let them kill people, and then everyone's gonna show up. All right, ready to shoot me some convicts.
I feel like there's been a bait and switch.
Well, so that's the thing is it was really weird. Like the whole announcement was weird. Everything about it was weird. And so they have a sign up on Practice Score. But they had the announcement says registration starts at 8 and the shoot will start at like 11. And so everyone's like, ugh, what? That's odd. And then there's another thing. The location where they're doing it at only has 2 bays and then a 270-degree bay. And so you're kind of wondering, like,
that's a lot of standing around, dude.
What are we doing? Because
yeah, the thing
I don't even know who's going to attend because everybody that I've talked to, everybody's like, I'm not going that for $100. Like $100? Get fucked.
Sounds like a GSSF match.
Yeah, but at least for the GSSF, you know what the prizes are going to be.
Hey, you know what the prizes are going to get here?
They have a sponsor.
You get some dinner from Market Street Grill if you're
and then they have like a fucking pawn shop they're bragging about like Crown Pawn is a sponsor, and you're like, what?
Well, it's because they strong-armed the Crown Pawn. They went to him and says, "Hey, do you really want us to have to do a thorough check of what you just brought in last month?"
He's already an informant and knows them a solid.
Well, we were laughing about it because they freaked out how last year we had Desert Tech sponsor Colby's match, and Desert Tech is part of a larger conglomerate group, we'll say. That they've done some weird shit in the past, and it's like part of a polygamous family or some shit. I don't know. I don't care. But at one of the board meetings, they're like, "We will not have Desert Tech sponsor any of our matches. That is unacceptable, and it is unprofessional, and we cannot have that." And me and Colby are like, "I don't even know what the hell you're talking about, and that's weird, but why?"
That's weird, and you guys don't actually get a say, so get bent.
Well, and then it's like, and now you guys are going to have a pawn shop sponsor your match?
Easy. Listen, when people break into other people's houses and steal things from them or break into cars, that is way more moral than, I don't know, like letting a couple chicks marry you. Way more moral. So how dare you?
That's fair.
People need meth, Jared. People need meth. Okay? Meth doesn't know 100%. Color, doesn't know creed. It just knows... It just knows it needs to be in.
It's just a little bit of go-y.
Just listen, as a full-time trucker, if someone handed me trucker speed on Friday night, would I have taken it? Yes. Yes, I was freaking tired. You want to keep America going? Trucker speed.
America doesn't run on Dunkin'. America runs on meth.
All I know is meth doesn't do shit for me, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It just makes your room cleaner. That's all meth does for you and your ADHD brain.
Damn it! I get shit done finally.
Why are all my Dylans taken apart? Oh shit!
There's that one girl comedian. She's sitting there, she's talking about how her and her friends were doing cocaine in high school, and all her friends were like tripping out. Oh, let's go run, let's go do this stuff, and let's go freak out, let's go joyriding, let's go throw this thing through a window. And then she's like, I think I can read. I think I can go to college. Good joke. So
shut up. That hits too close to home.
Womp womp.
You know, the funniest thing I don't really understand about that UPO thing, the UPOA thing, is they've been involved and a part of a demonstrable amount of success with the UPOA, whether you were running it or I think Jeremy Dunn was running it prior to you. So they've been able to see it. It wouldn't take that much for them to stand on the shoulders of giants and copy that format. I mean, that'd be a great thing to do.
And I told him, I'm happy to help out. If you guys have any questions or if you guys want anything, I can do whatever you guys need. Yeah. I'm just not going to run it, and I'm not going to be in charge of it, and I'm not going to get anything. But if you guys want instruction or how to do anything, please feel free to reach out. Let me know. And not a peep. I haven't gotten a single phone call, a single text, a single anything. I don't even know if I'm welcome at that match, but either way, I'm not going. But oh man, it's going to be interesting. I know one friend who is going to go because apparently everybody who works at the prison, they told him like, you guys can all shoot it for free since we're using your range. And that's the trade, is they're not paying the prison to use their range. They're just gonna let the prison shoot it, which doesn't really make sense because like, wait, you're charging a cover charge, but then you're not gonna pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, whatever. This is we were a part of success, and we were a big part of the success. And then you go down the checklist of the things that person or that organization actually did, and then they're like, okay, so what was your part? And they're like, well, we supported. Anytime you hear somebody go like, well, we supported, it's just like, by doing.
Thanks, police wife.
I was going to say, Tommy, I mean, you pretty much described every single politician's little pamphlet that's come in the mail this last week.
Thanks,
I supported this. Like, it's the classic meme, like, I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. I didn't do shit.
We just stamped our name on it and took a good 20%. Anyways, if you would like to save 10% off a belt, head on over to Dominate Defense. Use promo code PARA10. Save 10% off your order or American Operator gear. Same promo code will get you 10% off that order for the best belt in the industry for your Mach 1 speed belt for your competition use or your concealment belt. Check them out. Dominate Defense. It is the best belt. Copied. Never duplicated. Dominate Defense. Also, check out W74 guide rods. I got a Beretta over there with a W74 guide rod in it. It's fantastic. Love it. Also, I got some Glocks with some W74 guide rods. Fantastic way to get some weight in front of your gun or really chonk it up. So, like when you put those, those grips on them for your VZ that are made out of straight brass and they're super thick and they add another 8 ounces to the gun, balance it out. Tungsten batteries on the front end. Promo code PARA10, save 10% off of that. Kevin's a good dude. Helps out on the show. Support him. Also, check out Rune Tactical. Get a +1 in your magazine for that little bit of that couple pieces of steel out there on that 22-round course of fire. It'll really pay off for you. Use promo code PARA10, save 10% off of your Rune Tactical follower kit. Telegram. Ask us questions. We'll answer. We'll do our best. Sometimes we don't do our best because it's more funny to just not do the best. Anyways, gosh dang, these freaking bags under my eyes. I need to go sleep. All right, Robert, hit it.
All right, from our good friend Rod Davison. You're making your Christmas wish list. The person who's buying your gifts has a $500 budget. What do you wish for?
For ourselves? I don't know. I've never been given a gift voluntarily. I wouldn't know what to do. My heart would shatter. $500.
You got that $650 out of the deal.
Still had to fight for it. Anyways, Let's see. I don't know. You know what I would want for $500? I would want a T-Sauce 1911. Couple magazines.
That's a good choice.
I would freaking love that because I could take like one of those Raiders, and I could get one of those and have fun in 9mm with it. Get a couple magazines on the side. Take that off later on if I really want to have some fun with it. I could send it off to get milled, like for a Dawson Precision plate system or an AOS system, and just have this kind of cool looking 9mm 1911. That would be super fun to shoot. I would love to do that.
Yeah, that works.
I don't know.
The hardest thing I have is, like, Andrew and I have actually both commented on this. And it's like, Christmas is weird to us because if we want something, we just go get it. Mm-hmm. And so that we've just always been. And so, like, Christmas rolled around, it's like, well, what do you want for Christmas? And then you're playing this game of like, well, I need to think of something so that somebody can get me something, even though I already have everything that I already want.
Yep.
Well, and it's just weird. I mean, honestly, if somebody had $500 and they were going to buy me something, I'd just tell them to get me more primers. It's something that I'll use. I'll use it a ton.
That is so lame.
Well, dude, what else do you want me to say? I have everything that I want.
Well,
yeah, but we could come up with a good gift for you for $500 that you would be happy. Like we could get you a new knife. We could get you
new knife wouldn't be that bad.
A custom handmade knife that says that has a ferret eating a snake on it.
That'd be cool.
Get you a date with a hot dude named Marcus for the night, you know, for the evening, something like that.
The sheath could just be a dildo. It'd be great.
Be solid gold. Technically, probably could be solid gold for $500, or at least gold plated. You know, like, we are literally if you're into a hobby as much as we are literally the worst people to buy for. Like, one, we want something hyper specific, not even to just like guns. It's just like, no.
I would really like this tungsten guide rod for a 92G Beretta. Make sure it's a 92G, not this one, not this one, not this one.
You got the one for the Centurion. So, that doesn't.
Yeah.
See, but that's the thing, and you're actually kind of proving my point. It's like, for Christmas with Andrea, it's like basically we start Christmas shopping in July, and we'll go to the store, and I'll be like, oh, I kind of want that. And so, like, actually, literally yesterday, I'm like, oh, there's a sale on these two tape measures, because I use tape measures. That's just what I do. And I'm
just love tape measures.
Right. And so it was a 2-pack, and I'm like, hey, I need one for work. You could have one for the house. Let's just get this, and we'll just put it in the thing, and we'll save it till Christmas.
This is a win-win.
Everybody wins. I mean, it like works. And so,
you're the most middle-aged motherfucker I've ever heard with that story.
You're pretty. That's pretty basic, Robert. You know the.
What do you want me to do? I could spend the next hour and 40 minutes talking about like the carnivore diet, which I'm not going on. And
no, what we need to do, Robert, is we need to buy those goddamn motorcycles that Jake had at the match.
Dude, yeah,
that's what I want.
I totally want that thing. That was badass.
So one of the helpers.
It's not $500, but
yeah, it was like $4,000.
Hey, Jared, here's what we need to do. I need you to charge just a teeny bit more, and then we'll for the not a cut match, and then we'll split it.
I like how we've completely rotated the conversation from $500 to like now it's $4,000 and we can get a motorcycle. I would say this,
but it's a really cool motorcycle, Tom.
It was pretty epic.
If you saw this motorcycle, you would also be like, that's a fucking tits motorcycle.
Yeah.
Listen,
China.
I am willing to go get my 2024 goal, get a motorcycle license, because
that midlife crisis, Tommy, huh?
It's about time to hit it. Like,
I know.
I'm gonna hit it hard. Like this last one. This last one was just an escape.
The motorcycle or the Corvette.
This one's gonna be a motorcycle, aviator shades, and doing like 140 while listening to the Top Gun soundtrack. Take my breath away, and then I'm just like gone. But like for like anybody else who's not like us, like you could just get them. Like for women, you could get them anything that was like sentimental. Like, here's a bracelet with your name on it, and they would love that forever. You spend $500 on us, and you're just like, oh my gosh, you got me a Smith & Wesson M&P. That's an awesome. And you're like taking it apart. You're like, it's in 40.
Oh.
And then you're like hitting her in the kitchen.
It's in 45 gap.
You're just like, oh my gosh. Then you're sitting there crying like, I thought you loved me. I thought you loved me.
I can't even kill myself with this gun. There's no ammo.
There's no ammo. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. Like, we're the worst. We're just the worst. Like, honestly, I would be much happier if you gave me a hug than you be like, here's something. I made an attempt.
Give me the answer for all men is just like, you know what? Just give me a steak and a blowjob and a blowjob and a steak, and we're good. We're call it 6s and some Pokemon cards.
Listen,
we'll take some Pokemon cards too.
You know what? The economy's bad. The economy's bad when the steaks cost more than the blowjobs. I'm just gonna say it. Trump.
Spoken from a man with true experience.
3-pack of steak, $60. Listen.
Those lot lizards, man. The economy's hitting everybody tough.
It's tough out there.
They also have steaks. They sell those. The lot lizards also do DoorDash.
I thought those were tamales.
They do DoorDash and oral.
I had something really going good in my life, but now when I think that this person's going to listen to this podcast, I'm probably going to lose it. Next question, for the love of all things holy.
Let's see. From Sebastian Manu, tell me about the best blowjob. Oh, wait, never mind.
Oh, my gosh.
This is not kid friendly.
Well, I was at the airport. I reached under the stall.
Oh, my gosh.
I met this very nice politician.
He promised me all sorts of things. Just need a vote.
I'm not going to say this joke, but he was decent enough to proposition me before he went to the bathroom. That's it. That's class. That's 2024 class. What are you going to do?
Yeah. He washed his hands.
Okay, get to the joke. Not to the joke. Sorry. Get to the damn question. Get there, please, for all things holy. I went to church twice today, and I'm doing this.
We're countering church.
Tom's way too good of a man. We got to bring him back down. Be one of us. From Sebastian, Glock 17, 19, 43X, 30, 21. I don't have enough Glocks. Which one should I buy next? Shadow 2.
He already has one.
Shadow 2.
I don't know. What Glock do you get? You buy an M&P at that point. That's what you do.
Glock 17. That's the only Glock that you ever need, and that's the only Glock I ever want. That's the only other option would be a Glock 45, and you could make the Glock 45 into a full Roland special build. There you go. Done.
If you go up into the mountains and stuff like that, and you want a 10mm, you could get the Glock 29. 40, something like that. I mean, that'd be a great gun.
Get a Glock 29, 10mm subcompact.
Ew.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, because I don't want to have wrists anymore.
It's ew
until I'm gonna be slinging the BBG out of the 10mm using a big black Glock. I'm gonna be a big one. I'm not gonna have a little baby Glock barrel.
What is the commander size Glock? The commander like so if you got a commander
Glock 45
slide, that's the Glock 45.
Yeah,
so like the shorter
45.
slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that. That'd be
19
cool.
slide full size frame is the 45 or the 19X.
If you want a Glock, for the man that has all Glocks, if you want a Glock, you buy the 17L.
Ooh.
The 17L.
They did just come out with those.
Those Gen 5 17L MOSs, yeah. The 6-inch barreled 9mm competition. They shoot so freaking soft. They're accurate as hell. I mean, and it is just something that doesn't come around very often. And they're really kind of cool guns. And like you can really push some pretty decent loads out of those things. And so it is really fun.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Class, next question.
I'm sorry, future Mrs. Tom. From Rob Chavis. How many majors next year will recognize zero iron sight divisions? South Carolina section opened a few nights ago, and as is, there's not enough signed up for any iron sight division to be recognized.
Huh.
Wow. That's actually saying something, because I mean, like the East Coast, those guys were like a production powerhouse.
Yep.
For so long.
Well, the other thing is too is like I kind of find myself like just having fun with some of these pistols that I've gotten that are iron sight only, and that's kind of like, it's depressing that stuff's kind of happening, but that's the way the market's going, and these people got to sell matches, and like honestly, do I want to go buy trophies or anything else like that for 3 people in a division?
No, and thankfully in USPSA we have a way to solve that. The thing is just I mean, I'm sure it'll fill up in
Robert
back east. I'm sure it will, but wow, I mean, just not having production in like Georgia, South Carolina is just crazy
Weird.
to me.
Yep.
Do you remember your award you got for shooting production or low cap at the Nauticop match?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Good.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
it's a great award. It's just
weird, though. We can spare the consumers of the vulgarity of what's on that because we've already passed we're south of Missouri. No, don't do it.
Too late.
Remember YouTube. Remember, stop it. We're on you. Flash enough. The AI is probably not going to pick it up. All right.
No, the thing that's weird to me is like, because like all of us who like started out in production, I mean, a lot of us are getting up there in age, and so our eyes are slowly starting to shift to needing an optic anyway, and trying to convince a young and upcoming shooter that they should be using iron sights. I mean, I don't even know how you can even make that argument anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's that classic thing like in college, they need to suffer because I had to suffer. And it's like, okay, grandpa. I mean, like what value are you actually providing to do that? I mean, the right or wrong, I mean, the world's just moving to an optic gaming system.
Yep.
But I do want to do what Tom was talking about, and single stack winter would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean for the locals and stuff like that, but yeah, for majors, no. Let's have competitions in majors. There's no not force people into bigger pools, but if the pools aren't big enough for plays, like let's not spend the time on them.
No, I mean it's just I mean you look at like handgun nationals and things like that. I mean if it's an iron sight only match, then the match doesn't fill up. But the second you stick an optic in there, suddenly everybody wants to shoot it.
Yeah, well, and then like
that alone should tell you something.
Well, force consolidation into the from the iron sights divisions. Like, listen, we've had enough expansion in USPSA over the past 10 years that it's time for some consolidation, and some of those divisions probably need to be consolidated together.
Well, I think that's the Mitt Romney approach, right? I mean, just let him self-deport. The divisions will just die on their own if you don't get enough people that shoot. We don't need to actively do anything.
No,
the people are just going to decide they just don't want to shoot iron sight outside of you're always going to have like the nostalgia guys, right? I mean, like I still, well, hell, right here, see, I still shoot film. I do it not because it's efficient. It's way more expensive. It's not nearly as good as what you get with digital, but it's just a vibe and it's just something fun to do. And I think it's cool, but nobody serious is doing it anymore unless they're just going out there and hunting for a trophy and hoping that somehow magically they'll get 5 people in the division so that they can take high overall single stack.
Yep.
Get it, Tim Heron.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know.
But even he's jumped over to limited optics, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Optics.
He's the single stack baby.
Optics and single stack would not be a bad place to put it.
I think it could be a lot of fun.
I think if you had 8 or 9 round minor with a dot and allowed it to shoot with 8 round major and 10 round minor with optics, it probably would not. If like 8 round minor 9mm with an optic would probably be pretty fun. But I honestly don't think it's even that much of an advantage over the iron sights. Shooting them back to back, like you kind of like the dot's not really much faster as it is. It's more. You get more information quicker, but like sometimes you're faster with less information on the irons. Like you just see it, and as soon as you see it, you send it. So I don't know.
It's like Tom swiping left.
Swiping left.
Mm-hmm. From Dirk Hopkins, I'm thinking about PC sale or 2 or 3 gun matches. What are your favorite? Anything that Max Leograndis puts on as far as the PCSL is going to be a good match because Max he's probably the best out there. As for 3-gun matches, I'd go talk to Adam Reiser. He knows Adam's always been huge, and he knows all the best ones to shoot. Let's see, from Jeremy Fitzpatrick. The Not Another Shooting Show guys were pooping on level 2 matches this week, especially level 2 matches that weren't state/section championships. My counterpoint is that they are an important part of USPSA ecosystem for giving new ROs and other staff experience within the structure of a major match. Match staff need to start at small level 2 matches to prepare for the area and national level competition. What are your thoughts?
As far as getting people experience, people can get experience through a whole sort of levels, but a bad match is a bad match and a good match is a good match. Like regardless, if you have a level 2 and it's like brought to you by Dan's Dog Food, Dad and Dog's Food Southern Missouri Classic, and it's just a banger of a match, like who gives a shit? Jared's matches are freaking phenomenal. What organization?
They're a level nothing.
They're a level.
Yeah.
It's not even an organization.
It's sponsored by Autism.
Yeah. And they put more people into his match than. Hey, I like Autism. They put more people into his match than like Nationals does at a substantially better price. And honestly, you're out of there in one day. I mean,
we are going to have more people than any of the USPSA Nationals at our match.
Yeah, fuck you, Nationals.
Well, so it's just like, if it's a good match, it's a good match. If people are putting on matches and they're somewhat mediocre and they're getting other people experience, like eventually those can become good matches. But like, don't shoot bad matches, shoot good matches. And you got to take a chance on something somewhere. Like, be happy that people are putting on matches.
So listening to the show, it was actually a really great back and forth between Jeff and Andy talking about it. And the reality to me is I'm actually kind of on the train that's like there's no value in holding a section 2 match it's because the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I mean, the amount of like hoops that you have to jump through to get things like sanctioned and the stages have to be approved and all this other stuff, and you have to pay a lot more money to USPSA and this and that and this and that and just tons of things, and you're like, what do we get out of this? And the answer is, if you're really honest, nothing.
Well, and that's the other question: is what is the match?
You'll get when you structure it as a level 2 or level 3, what you are trying to do is get competition that's outside of your area, basically, to come and shoot, or get the best competition that's within your area to come and shoot it.
Okay, so I would push back on that a little bit, and I'm going to use Jared's match as an example, because Jared's match, as we just said, is a level nothing, and yet what we have seen over time and history now with having that match being run at a high level with good coordination, and it's just being run exceptionally well. That's very easily like a level 2 quality match.
Yeah, but it's got good press. It's got good press to it, and it's got good word of mouth, and it's further
bringing people in from out of state because it's been well run. So even if you run a very high level 1 match, and you run it successfully and you do it very, very well, you're going to bring in talent from all over the place.
Yeah.
Now,
but if I'm starting at 0
level, but if we're starting at 0, then I would say if I was today, if you came to me and says, Robert, we want to run a high level match, I'd be like, cool. And the first thing I'm going to think about is I need to get good stages on the ground. I need to make sure the match goes. I need to get competent ROs and people that are legit, good prize table, all that sort of stuff. And then somewhere down the line, we may have a conversation about, do you want this to be a level 2 match? And because it's so far out there and it doesn't actually give me any like real fundamental return on value, I'm happy to have that conversation. But as it is, I just don't see it.
Well, like let's say if you had a level 2 match, and then instead of actually paying for the level 2 match, you just bought advertising for that match on practice score or something like that, would that be worth more to get people into your match?
Honestly, probably, because that's the biggest problem with a level 2 match is that it's not like you get any support or extra stuff for it. You don't get anything from USPSA for doing a level 2, or from my understanding, a level 3 or a level 4. Like, you don't get anything.
You do, actually. You get a lot of headache. And I say that a little bit
have to do
being facetious, but it is. It's just a lot more headache. You have to get all your stages approved, which means that the RM comes in and the RM has his opinion about how you should do things, this, that, and the other. And
right. And you have to have some old guy come and bless your match, and you have to have this get blessed, and you have to have this get blessed, and you have to this stage get drawn up early. You have to have all this extra stuff done, and then you have to pay your dues to the motherland, and you have to do all this extra stuff. But my question is, what does it actually bring to your match? And I guess you could argue, well, there's a level of prestige, there's a level of, well, other competitors won't come to your match if it's not a level 2 or 3, et cetera, et cetera. And I can see both sides of the argument, but I guess because I know of a handful of local shooters who just flat out refuse to come to the COP match because it is not a USPSA match. And every year I kind of laugh about it, because I'm like, why? And they're like, well, I just don't have the primers for it, or I'm really only focusing on USPSA right now. I can't do some outlaw match. And I go, okay, that's totally fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. If you don't want to shoot the match, that's cool.
We're selling that match out, so it's not like they're hurting.
It's selling out, but it is interesting that there are certain people who will refuse to go to a match if it is not USPSA. And so by making a level 2, I imagine you probably will get some people that won't travel unless it's a level 2 or above match. That's probably a fact. That's true.
That's very fair to say, honestly.
But are those people worth, those 10 to 20 people, let's say, worth the headache of all this extra stuff? And I guess if your eventual end goal is to try to make it into a level 2 or a level 3, or, if your end goal is to get this awesome regional match going, then that's a stepping stool to get to where you want to go. But if your goal is just to have a good match, I don't think making it a level 2 is a necessary step that you have to take to get there.
Right. The one to speak to Jeremy's question specifically, the one like big advantage to a level 2 is it goes on your work record. If you're an RO, you can then put that on your work record inside of the USPSA.
See, I don't even know what that is.
Right. So let me explain just really quick. So if you're an RO, you one of the pages that you can go to is you can record all of your work, all the RO work that you've done at level 2 and above matches. And that information, when they're looking for people to be ROs at a nationals level event, they'll actually look at your work record and say, oh, this person has been an RO for the past 10 years, and here's the 10 majors that they've worked. They are pretty well experienced. And so there's actually value in that from that perspective. If you're not going to go, if you have no intention of ever going to that, then it doesn't really matter.
That's more on the person who wants to RO and not really on the club for the match. Like I would understand, like listen, if I was down at SUPS, or I was at Rio Salado, if I was over at Frostproof or whatever like that, like I would want to do that all the time. Like you would want to have level 2s or whatever, because like everyone, like you are in the running to host a nationals or something that you're going to need those. But for like everybody else,
why? Like if let's say next year at SUPS, I become an RO before then, and I don't have a single level 2 or level 3, or I don't have a single level 2 on my work card. Mm-hmm. If I call them and say, hey, do you guys want help? I'm an RO. I got baptized. Are you guys going to want an RO? Are they going to say no?
They're going to say maybe. Because at a national
on what
level,
holes they have to fill.
I mean, functionally, yeah. I mean, at a national level match, everybody wants in. And so they have a much easier time getting ROs. But what the SUPS model has always been is so the maybe to you, right, Jared? Like subs like, well, if we pull in local people, that's a whole lot less
it's cheaper
expense, like big time. Anybody who's ever been a major, like run major matches, they will tell you that the staff is the single most expensive thing you have to cover. Staffing is expensive. And that's where a huge chunk of your money just always goes.
Right.
It's just the
once
way
you start having to buy hotels and food for people, you're fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so, I don't know. Honestly, I would love to be wrong, but in this environment, unless you're an RO trying to get into higher level matches, man, I don't see it. I don't see the value in making your match a level 2. I just don't see it. And the old timers will probably say that I'm wrong, which is fine. I'm happy to be wrong, but I'm just not seeing it.
Yep.
What I think could happen is if USPSA started actually offering incentives to level 2 and level 3s, et cetera, where they start pulling in their sponsors and saying, hey guys, at a level 2 match, you're automatically sponsored. Your match will automatically be sponsored by all these companies. These companies will allow you to purchase targets, products, guns, certs, whatever you need at a 75% discount or a 50% discount or whatever.
Right.
But literally doing some of that on the back end and being able to say, hey, if you're a level 2 match, we offer these incentives. We can offer this help because you guys are submitting and doing all this extra stuff. We're going to be assuming you're being run correctly. We can offer you help by doing this,
yeah,
this,
and
this.
Advertisement fee for putting your name on it.
Right.
Like you put it on there, like you're going to advertise it, you're going to collect the sponsors, like that part will be USPSA's issue. And if they were good at that, they would do it for themselves on their own magazines and nationals and stuff like that. But like we just got the organization to be non-dramatic for a little bit.
Maybe.
Well, they let Ben Steger back. Honestly, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, like that's
kind of happy about that. Actually.
Shouldn't have happened in the first place because
is he actually going to come back and shoot a match?
He talked about it. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, if Not Another Shooting Show actually did 2 episodes a week instead of like 1.5 and hide the one behind the paywall, then maybe you would have heard this. But they actually talked about this on Friday a little bit. I don't know what value it is for Steger to come back. I'd love to see him come back and shoot matches. I think that would be absolutely awesome because I still think Ben Steger is the most IPSC American shooter out there. He's just exceptionally good at what he does.
Yep.
And I would just love to see him come back and just hammer on people.
No, it'd be fun. And honestly, like the sport, here's what your level 2 match should be about. It's Ben Steger showing up or talking shit about your match on a YouTube video, and then drawing attention. There you go. That's a way to get it done. Let's do one more question. Let's bounce.
Well, fortunately, it's the last question anyway from Itzik. Hey guys, as I mentioned before, we in Israel are starting an IPSC optics division with rules similar to your limited optics. I want to compete in this new division. Since I'm on a budget, I won't be buying a new pistol. I just need to pick between the 2 guns I have. First option is my CZ Shadow 2 from Production Optics, which will change to a single action trigger, or my Bull SAS 2 TAC 4.25. What's your take?
Take your Shadow 2, don't even convert it. Put a magwell on it.
I would go for the Bull just because the Bull is already single action only, so you cannot compete with it in other division. I think that's the same in IPSC. I don't know. But your Bull's already there. Your Bull's already a limited optics gun. Whereas the CZ, technically, you could do like what Tom was saying, just roll it like how it is, put a magwell and be done. Or you could make it a single action if you wanted to. But I think that would be a bad choice because you have a setup that's already working and good. So leave that as it is. Now you can take your Bull armory and run that as a limited optics gun because by all accounts 2011s are what seems to be winning or the predominant gun in limited optics, so you might as well get it. You already have a 2011, so might as well.
2011's the predominant gun because that's where it can fit in the division, right? And people wanted to do it, it's right. It's not remarkably better or amazingly better than a Shadow 2. And the other part too is like, is a double action trigger going to slow you down? Not really. Like that, none of that parts that's in that Shadow 2 is going to affect your placement in shooting limited optics. So like just
but
if it's already trusted and you've already used it as your match gun, like why are we going to branch out and go do something else? Put a magwell on it. Don't put a magwell on it. Go shoot that. Like if you want to go shoot it just for the lulz of shooting something else, then go shoot your 425 bowl. But if you want to like compete or whatever, it's like you got a working product. Many people,
they're both good options.
They're fantastic options. But many people have a option in production that they could mill for a dot or do something else like that. But honestly, we play a lot of divisions because we like an excuse to buy something else and then go fool around with that. That's why we do it. So
yeah.
All right. Well,
seems reasonable.
Yep. Thanks for downloading, listening, and subscribing. We would like to remind you that we're all decent people on the inside, regardless of what comes out of our mouths on this podcast. And
I'm not.
Tommy, she stopped listening a long time ago. You're boned.
Tommy's nice. Robert's a little bit too autistic, but he's pretty good.
I'm okay. Just
mostly.
But you're just really good at counting toothpicks.
Shut up.
492. Anyways, thanks for downloading, listening, and subscribing. For Robert, Wyatt, and Jared Stepp, I'm Tom Nelson. May you peace, love, and soul as we depart to the open waters of the Sea of Life on a low tugboat we like to call the Paracast.
Remember, go vote on Wednesday.
Doot doot.